Hello, wonderful children. It's time for English language conversation, and you are welcome to this lesson. I believe you are all doing well. Today we are going to be talking about picture description, or how you can create a story from pictures. Every picture that you see has a story behind it, or every picture that you see, there's something that you can say about it, or a story that you can create about it, and that is what we are going to be looking at for today. Let's look at our keywords for today. The first keyword that we have is sequence. Sequence. What does sequence mean? It means in a particular order which things have been arranged. A particular order in which things have been arranged. Let's look at the second keyword, which is character. Character. It is the human beings, animals, and things in a story. Every story that we read or we hear talks about human beings, trees, things in general, and even animals. That is what character in a story means. Let's take a look at the third keyword for today, which is setting. Setting. Setting is the place, surroundings, and the time in which events in a story takes place. Every story that we read or hear has a particular place where it took place. It has a particular time, whether 10 years ago, whether 5 years ago, whether a century ago, whether in present time, and so on and so forth. The next keyword is clues. Clues. Clue is to know something about something. To have a clue about something means to know something about something, or to have a hint about something. Very good. We've been seeing pictures in our daily lives, isn't it? Most of the time we see pictures in people's offices, sometimes in our classrooms, sometimes in people's cars, in our homes, and the rest. All these pictures that we see, there are some things or there are some stories that we can create about those pictures that we see. So the next time you see any picture, try to get the meaning of that picture. Look at the picture critically and think about what that picture is telling us about. Okay, so just as I told you at the beginning of the lesson that we are going to be looking at how we can tell stories or we can describe pictures, let's look at the things to consider, or the things we should look out for when we are telling stories from a picture in sequence. Let's take a look at the first one. Is the arrangement of events. How the events have been arranged. Sometimes they've been mixed up, so you need to look at them critically and then find out which one comes first, which one comes after it, and the following one to the last one. But in some cases also, they have been arranged for you already. So that one, it becomes very simple. You look at it and then you just describe it. So that is the first thing that you should look out for, whether the events have been arranged correctly or not. The second one is the characters. The characters. You look out for the human beings, the things or animals that the story is about. You look at it critically. You can even give names to the human beings that you see in it, even though you may not know them, but you just guess something and give just a name to it. Let's look at the third one, is the clues. The clues. When we say the clues, we are talking about the items that are in the picture, the things that are in the picture, like it could be books, pencils, chairs, and the rest. It tells you where the action is taking place, and this leads us to the next thing that we should look at, which is the setting, which is the place that the story is taking, or the story is happening, or the story is going on. And we can know this by the clues, the things that are around. For example, if you see a boy in the picture sitting at a place where there are chairs and the person is surrounded by books, where do you think that story is taking place? Of course, it is a library. Very good. So the setting is the place, and the clues helps us to know the. Now the last thing that we look out for is what the character did. This talks about the action that the character performed in the picture, and this will give you a guide on what to say. It will give you more to say about the story. For example, if you see the character with a ball in front of him kicking, what does it tell you? It tells you that the character was what? Playing football. So it will give you more to say. Very good. I believe you are getting it very well. Okay, let's try to, based on all that we've said so far, let's try to describe this picture that we have on the screen based on the guidelines that we just discussed. So what was the first thing we said we will look out for? Very good. The arrangement of the event. So let's take a look at this picture very well. How has the event been arranged? Do you think it has been arranged well, or they've been mixed up? Correct. They've been arranged correctly. These events here have not been mixed up. So we have the first one, followed by the second one, the third one, and then the last one. Okay, so let's take a look at it very well. The second thing that we said we look out for is what? Is the characters. The characters, I said, are the human beings, the animals, or the things that the story is about. Good. So in this picture, or pictures that we are seeing, what do you think are the characters? They are human beings. They are human beings. And the main character in this picture is the boy or the person in red that we are seeing. Because it seems like in all the pictures, he is in it. Very good. So the third one is the clues. The clues. The clues, I said, are the things that are in the picture that tells us the setting. So when we look at this picture that we see, what are some of the things that we can say or we can see? We see some grass. We see tracks in which people run. We see supporters cheering them up, or fans, even though they're a little blurred, but we can see them. So what does it tell us? It tells us that they are at what? A stadium. They are at a stadium. And then when we look at this critically, we realize that the characters we see are in their sports wears. They are wearing their jerseys and they are wearing their shoes. So it tells us that they are what? They are in a stadium. Okay. So based on these things that we've looked out for, let's look at the pictures, and then let's try to tell a story out of it. Okay. So we can say in these pictures that we see that it was a sporting competition or an athletic competition that was organized between two schools, St. Peter's Mission School, I can say, and St. Paul's School. Very good. We can see that the main character was in red and white, so we can say that person was representing St. Peter's Mission School, and the other one in green was representing St. Paul's. So we see that the one in red ran, and then he bypassed the other person, and then he became first. He received a medal. So let's tell this story based on what we have looked at so far. One Wednesday afternoon, a sports event was organized between two schools, which is St. Peter's Mission School and St. Paul's School. St. Peter's had their representative wearing red and white jersey, and then St. Paul's had their representative wearing a green and white jersey. So the St. Peter's representative's name was Isaac, whilst St. Paul's representative's name was Kofi. Soon, all was set for the competition to begin. So immediately, the referee sounded the whistle and the competitors started running. As they were running, Isaac, who was representing St. Peter's Mission School, ran and bypassed his opponent, who was Kofi. Immediately, Isaac got to the finishing mark, and then he became the first in the running competition, and then he received the gold medal on behalf of his school. Very good. We have described these pictures that we see. We've told the story behind these pictures that we see based on my perspective. So I want to also give you a task that you also in your homes try and tell the story from your own point of view. You can give the characters different names. You can add a whole lot of information that maybe I didn't bring and jot them down in your jotters. So we've come to the end of our lesson for today. I hope you enjoyed the lesson. So what have we learned today? Today we've talked about how we can tell a story from pictures. And then we said that before you can tell a story from pictures, there are some things that you need to take note of, or some things you need to look out for. And the first one we said is that look out for the arrangement of the event, whether it has been arranged orderly or not. If it is not arranged in order, you have to do that. And then the second one that we said was that you look out for the characters, or the characters we said are the people, that is the human beings, the things or the animals in which the story is about. And then the next one was the clues. We said we should look out for the clues. The clues we said that are the things that are in the story that tells us where the action is taking place, which serves as a guide for us. And then the next one is the setting. And the setting we said is the surroundings, the place or the time in which the story is taking place. And then the last one was what the character did in the story. I'll come your way again for us to have another interesting lesson. But until then, bye-bye.